Worst feeling in the world. I used to wake up crying in the middle of the night 'cause my legs hurt so bad, but I'm a tall MF now so it was worth it. But yeah, that shit used to keep me up night. I had them too, and I'm 5 feet tall as an adult rolling on the floor laughing. Yep, and have very bony knees from Osgood Schlatter disease to prove it. Funny thing is that I'm only 4 feet 11, so what was all that pain for? I have that and hata it. Funny though, my older brother couldn't ever get the name right, so he just called it my escalators, haha. Worst pain in the world though, getting hit there when I was still growing. I did. Loads of aches, mainly in my legs. My mum used to make me hot water bottles. Not sure if it's related, but I have hypermobility. Wasn't diagnosed then, and ended up with a lot of pain every day anyway. Until about 2 years ago I didn't realize it wasn't normal to be in pain every day. Neither of my kids seem to get them though, 7 and almost 9. And both very rarely have any sort of pain. Not that my daughter can talk, but she never seems in pain. And both are also hypermobile. I had the hypermobility too. My mum said that's what caused the pains I used to wake up with, usually the night after PE lessons. Supposedly muscles having to work a lot harder to keep my joints together. I used to get a lot of pain in my shins at night. I had significant hip pain as a young teenager. They did some imaging but didn't find anything and chalked it up to growing pains, and eventually it went away. No, I don't. I don't either, and I grew to be 6 feet 3 inches quite quickly. Only in my boobs. Felt like 2 plates inside them and hurt to lay on front. I remember the dull ache. I can also trigger a very similar and much more painful one when I try to swim in too cold water. I have a mild case of Raynaud syndrome. Body reduces blood circulation to hands and feet as if I'm dying of hypothermia when it's just a little cold. So if I just wade into cold water, my feet will start aching deep inside, and it is very similar to growing pains, just much stronger. Heel, yes. Always twisting an ankle while walking on perfectly flat ground. That hurt so much. Heel, I. At each moment twisting an ankle while walking on perfectly champagne did grind. Yawned did hurt so much. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Carrot. I am a bot and I swapped some of thy words with Shakespeare words. Commands. Backquote. Shakespeare insult backquote. Backquote. Fordo backquote. Backquote. Opt out backquote. Yes. When I was 6 to 8 I had them. Mother was totally freaked about the possibility aspirin would cause a problem and had nothing else for the pain. I still remember how fun it was. Also. Getting to listen to the doctor telling me I was not feeling the pain. Why would a child ever trust a doctor when they do that? Yep, but as an adult was diagnosed with hypermobile joints and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Explain my unexplainable pain I always had as a child. Edited hypernoble to hypermobile lol. I was told by my neurologist that growing pains are a real thing. If I'm in pain then something is wrong and I should go to the doctor. Turns out I have multiple sclerosis. Same, but Ehlers-Danlos. All effed up collagen. Yep, I had bad pains in my knees and legs. Always thought I had Osgood Schlatter, but it was never diagnosed. Yes. As a kid I hated them. I remember crying to my mom that my legs were hurting. Oh God, my knees at 14. And I'm old enough to be a grandpa. The dull ache and kicky legs. I have stretch marks on my thighs and butt. I was only 6 feet 1 inch but got there really fast. Yes. In my legs always in the middle of the night. My dad would rubbing alcohol on them really fast and hard and they'd feel a little better. Did anyone else's parent do this? I assumed it was a thing until I told my partner and he was like, WTF. OMG. I grew 7 inches on a year. My hips and knees have never been the same. I would lay in bed and cry fro the pain. I was out of gym class for 8 weeks during the worst of it. Holy crap, what a crazy time. But I went from 5 feet 2 to 5 feet 9 and stayed the same weight. which was a nice change from the chubbiness I had been up to then. Yes, awful in my shins and knees and lasted into my very late teens, 18-19. Ironic thing is I only ended up at 5'2", 157 centimeters. No, but my friend's puppy did. She was probably 6 to 8 months old when she began wailing nonstop and would only move very slowly. Normal puppy one day, hardly moving the next. Friend took her to the vet because it was so scary. The vet couldn't find anything wrong with her, but prescribed her a low dose of tramadol to ease the pain and it worked wonders. She's healthy, happy, and 7 years old now. Sometimes we still talk about how awful it was to hear her scream in pain. Can't imagine how she felt. Aw, this made me sad face. Poor doggy. Yep. Also I'm 26 and I still get regular growing pains from emotional growth. If you ain't feeling the pains, you ain't getting the gains biceps. There are several things I remember being concerned about as a kid or things that I often thought about. Growing pains was one. I was on the lookout for them 'cause I hated them and wanted to find different ways to alleviate it. I also thought about when then next time I would fall. I used to fall a decent amount. But now I can't remember the last time I fell. Needing to pee. Being worried I'd need to pee when there was no bathroom around. And #X200B. There are others but I just think it's a cool thing to think about. Basically priorities changing. There was a period of my life, around age 13 to 16, where it hurt like crazy to sit my knees on the ground. The ligament or tendon, whichever it is, from the patella to the tibia was hypersensitive. They were horrible. The ache in the long bones used to wake me up at night. I grew to 5 feet 10 inches. Then in college I somehow grew another inch. Thank God my mom wouldn't let me slouch. My knees. Worst of it, they would occasionally pop or dislocate. Me and my legs all the way up until I was 19 and my parents refused to believe it counties after 16 'cause my doctor once said it won't and sometimes when it's cold I get the same pain in my legs. Yes. And they were so painful. Yes. My kid does now, age 13. Yes, my son went through it and now my granddaughter going through it now. My legs used to kill me. Once a week until I was probably 15, I would have intense leg pains. Nobody ever believed me. And I am only 5 feet 7 now.